Hello and welcome to the Green Turtleneck Club.
I swear when we got up this morning, we didn't plan our outfits.
We don't do this on purpose. I mean, there's no way you'd do this on purpose, is there?
No, I wouldn't. There definitely wasn't. I was thinking of the lovely little frog that I saw outside our house.
You look more like the little frog than I do.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, we'll talk about the frog another time.
Hello there. Munson's here with The Moment on New Reality TV, live from Portugal, Europe. Lovely to be here. Yeah. Our guest is in Canada today. Tell us about our guest.
Yeah. So our guest is Whitney Mullings, and I first got to know Whitney probably about this time last year, and since then we've been firm friends. I would say we've been working quite regularly together, and what I really appreciate about Whitney is she allows me or helps me to slow down and to tune in with maybe what my body or my soul or something much deeper than the apparent meanness. She helps me to tune into what I might
need to do. The apparent meanness. What a great fact. That's like a name for an autobiography, isn't it?
I might write that down.
The apparent meanness. Wow. You see, the thing is, I think I know Whitney as well. And that's by extension, isn't it? I think because of the profound effect she's had on you, I feel like I know her as well.
Yeah.
And we met for the first time just before the show online. So should we
let's bring her on, because she's
how does she describe herself?
The Soul Brand Shaman.
You see, I'm a bit upset about that. Why haven't I got a Soul Brand Shaman?
Because you haven't bothered to get one.
Oh, okay. Well, I can put that right now.
And because you don't tend to listen to other people when they tell you things.
All right. Okay. I wish I hadn't asked now. Thank you.
We've got people in the chat room. I can see we've got people watching, but I'm going to bring Whitney on and we'll kind of say hello to everyone at the same time.
Yes. Hi,
Good
Whitney.
Morning.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here so early in your time.
Yeah, because it was like 6:52 when you joined us on the show.
Bless you.
Bless you. It's 7 a.m. now. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Thank
How
you.
are you today?
I'm excited. And this has got me out of bed. I'm not a morning person, so I'm so excited.
Today.
Well, you're doing well so far. I can barely talk first thing in the morning. So, I've just sort of outed you as a Soul Brand Shaman. What was it, Whitney, to go into, with the big gun questions? What was it that got you on that particular path?
I was at a point where I wanted to make my online business to work, and it wasn't. And so it was very much into the last straw. I was in the very last bit of the credit on my card.
That's quite a threshold, isn't it?
We've all been there.
And so it was at that moment, it's like either I go out with a bang or that's the end of this whole entrepreneurship, really. And then I met this woman. There's just something about her. Everything that she says to me, she's like, you know what? You need to work on your self-worth. And I had no clue what that really meant, because I was like, I'm ready for the money. Like, what? It's just not computing. Yeah. And then something in me just says, you know what, do this. And mind you, this is like, the death moment, either I die or I do this. And so, or seemingly that's just how I felt. Anyhow, she was my mentor. She is the shaman. And it's like a miracle. As soon as I said yes, committed, before I even started my first call with her, I signed on 3 clients, and it covered the whole thing. Wow. And I just never looked back, because then we started working on shamanic journeying, and I had no idea what a shaman or shamanic journeying was at that point. But she just took me right into experience of myself in energy and my soul. And so it was at that really experience that had birthed what I do. And so I was already doing branding for women in business, because the one thing I do know is everybody that I know is kind of like wearing that corporate facade, and that same corporate facade.
Meanness. Yes, the apparent meanness.
The apparent meanness. Yeah. Yes, or the apparent like authority. I'm like above all, no, like, bow to me. Like, everybody has to have that demeanor to be respected in the corporate place, the very very, very strutting, like, masculine, for you to actually climb the corporate ladder. That's at least how I understood it. And that's always been like, um, similar to my experience. You always have to know your stuff, like you always have to be on, logical, very analytical. Anyhow, that's kind of what I saw. And I knew that was more, being the same,
Yes.
Everyone is trying to, like, wear on that hat, but none of their own personality really comes through, especially
Yeah.
in the online business, online marketing, or digital type of environment. And so I was already doing brand strategy, honing in, well, let's just bring out your personal brand, lead with that for business so people get to know who you are. So I was kind of already doing that, but I was calling myself the strategist. So since I met my mentor shaman, and it's really about diving into who you are, no matter if you're in business or in life. And so, through different variations of my own growth, and that's how I came to calling myself the Soul Brand Shaman, because I literally do shamanic journeys to dive into, like, well, what is your personal brand?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I got to ask, because I'm actually going through this process myself. What were the most significant surprises and changes? Or like, what was your first thought as it came up? There must have been lots of moments in your journey, Whitney, where you had these like little realizations. But like, I'm just wondering, like what happens in that whole process?
I, this is so funny. I'll share this because, I was listening to many, many things, as we all do. And one of the stories that I've heard is, if you can remember how you came into the earth, like how you birth, the actual birthing, it says a lot about how you do things in life. It says a lot about how you move. And I think I must have been one of those really, really long labors. because because when the moment I dabble into, like, hey, I'm pretty intuitive, when I do, like, understanding about my clients, and really, like, there's a lot of intuitive questioning, but it probably took me a year or two before I even come up to say I'm intuitive.
Right.
All
And
right.
so to your question, I didn't really come straight out to say, oh, I'm the shaman. Like, I probably had well into my apprenticeship, which is like a full year long, before I even called me that. So,
Wow.
like, I had probably gestate the idea for a very long time until I feel ready. Then I move. So
That's quite funny, because I was just like, when you mentioned it's possibly a bit like how you were birthed. I was really late. I was something like 16 days late when I was born. I didn't want to come out, and I feel
So what Whitney is saying is absolutely true.
yeah.
Yes.
Because when I'm going through some changes, I sit like that nothing will move me, and I'm a little bit, I mean, like, obviously I'm working with you, and that's no disrespect to you. It's because you've helped me kind of go into myself so much, and right now I'm just kind of like waiting like for these last few little bits to drop in. I have to see the complete picture before I can sort of like head off again.
yeah.
I feel very much like that, like I'm in this kind of not stuckness, but stillness. Like, I don't want to move at the moment. Thank you very much. That's how I
It's
feel.
interesting though, isn't it? Because the suggestion might be that it's wrong or bad in some way, but we do have to honor our own timing and style, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the work, especially when it comes to the shamanic healing, it's really to go into, do your own process,
Yeah.
and so it does take time, and sometimes I find, initially, in the whole spiritual community, the talks of quantum leaping, then I start to make myself wrong. Yeah, like, how come I'm
Yes.
not doing this quicker? I
Yes.
must have not been doing this right.
Yes.
And so there's so much wisdom in that, Carl. Thanks for bringing that up. It does take time, and you move at your own pace, and that's why you need to know yourself well. So then you know how
Yes.
you move, and you give yourself what you need. It's so important.
Yeah, Cordelia, it doesn't happen for Cordelia here as quickly as she would like. I can recognize that. I think a lot of us can recognize that. Thank you, Cordelia, for being here.
Cordelia, I wonder if you were one of those like faster births, like were you on time? Were you a bit early?
Yeah, come on, let's get on with this. Yeah, a universal timeline is always slower than my own human impatience. Should you be hearing this on a podcast? Good morning to Mother Mulberry's Tea Club, of course. Hello, everyone, including the FB chat, Facebook chat. And T-Ducky, howdy from Texas, y'all, as you would say when you're in Texas. Great to see you, T-Duck.
Morning, Debs.
Morning, Debs, as well, who also says, I feel the same way, Louisa. I've been working on my soul for a few years now, and I get in those times where I don't feel like moving yet. Do you know what? Your soul says exactly the same thing about you. I've been working on Deb for a while now. Maybe, I don't know. I love the sound of your mentor as well. As I recall you saying, Whitney, is that, do you know what? You need to work on your self-worth. And I don't know if it was exactly like that, but sometimes it can be very direct and it can be heard. Isn't it lovely to have somebody in your life like that gives you a very direct instruction where you think, okay, yeah. And is that what you're doing for people now?
Well, I try.
Right. Okay.
She's doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, you can bear witness to that.
If you don't mind me saying, Whitney, like currently in the group that I'm in a group with, is it 5 other people, 6 possibly, and we are meeting regularly, and Whitney is just holding the space beautifully, for us to all open up. And even though all of us are there under the sort of context of wanting to maybe work more soulfully, and to sort of expand through our careers, actually we've all gone through different breakdowns and things. We are kind of like, I guess, birthing ourselves. We're all having moments of depth, and we're doing it together. And so it's not just that you're working with one. I'm guessing you do work with some people one at a time, but actually with us all working together, we're learning from each other at the same time, which I think is part of it feels like a woman's group. It feels like nurturing, like a woman's circle, if you don't mind me saying.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very special.
How lovely.
Yeah, it feels sacred.
That's great to hear, Whitney. There you go. That's what you do. And I'd love to find out who this is appropriate for, because people might be thinking, yeah, I'd love to work with Whitney, and we'll find out where in people's journeys it might be appropriate to work with you, and more of what and how you work. We'd also urge people, as it says there on the ticker tape, check in. How's your week going? I know it's only Tuesday, but still, we have some of the week under our belt, and where you are is where you are right now, and that's what the moment's about, is to let us know exactly where you are and how you're doing. And we will be doing a little bit of a process. I love the part of the show which is a process with our guest, and Whitney will be taking us through a process. Yeah,
and it's interesting we're talking about birthing and like the sort of gestation period, because we've got the full moon tomorrow, the full moon in Leo. Leo's very much about our brand. Like Leo is a sign that is very much about performance and look at me, hello, I'm here, appreciate me. And of course the full moon is like the fullness of emotions.
So a good time to explore who you really are.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very good time to explore the power of being you.
Very good. Very good. Excellent.
So Whitney, what other applications, tell me a bit more about your journey and where you think it might lead, because I'm guessing once you start being like working with people in a shamanic way, I'm guessing that also takes you off on a deeper journey for yourself.
And what does that mean? Yeah. Because this word's coming up a lot this week.
Yeah.
Shaman. What is that process? What is the quality of that? If I can, sorry, I'm probably confusing the question there.
Yeah, you totally took the question there.
It happens. It happens far too often.
Oh no, you didn't. That was great. So the way that I understand it, the way that I've learned it, it's really to come in within yourself So everything you need to come in. So, there is a lot of moment too where I had to go through where I was not seeing, how I'm projecting or how I'm in victim, because I'm like, no, I'm doing this work for myself and I am taking responsibility. But then he did this and he said that. And, so, and it's really coming back into working into neutralizing.
Yeah.
Neutralizing, there's a lot of emotional outbreak, and let me know how you feel about this too, because when especially you run your own business, when your head is not in the right space, you just really can't do much.
Hmm.
You're not in the right mind space, the right energy. There is no way of like doing marketing, especially when I've decided I'm going to do marketing from what I want to say from the heart. And so when I'm in those moments, nothing works, right? And so this work, it's really coming back into the center of yourself so
Wonderful.
that it leaps into every part of what you do, how you show up. Even me as like a mom, I have to work on it like literally multiple times a day. Like the dragon mom comes out. But all of those are, things going on with the self, with myself. So a lot of them has to do with like exploring and investigating, like, okay, what is this outburst? What is the judgment? Where is it coming from? And like, how can you sit with it and be okay with it? Because a lot of the times, the work is feel your feelings, and I'm not brought up in that way, so it was
Mm.
really hard
Mm.
because I've learned to push it down so much. So the work is, in short, how can you reparent
Yeah.
and mother yourself? And so that you get to show up in however you want to in all the different areas and aspects of how you want to.
Mm.
How fascinating.
One thing that I really think, sorry, but I'm clearing my throat there in the microphone. One of the things that occurs to me is we've all got really high expectations on ourselves, and we've probably
Yeah.
got high expectations of other people, but we are sometimes the cruelest to ourselves. We've got, I mean, I know, I'll talk, from my own experience, is the expectations I put on myself. If I was to put them on somebody else, it could almost be abusive at times,
Yes.
and you don't realize that you're doing it until you do realize it. And of course, once you do, it's kind of heartbreaking, especially being a mum. I know I would never do that to my children, and yet I've done it to myself for so many years, every day, every moment, mostly. And I think being a mum helps, because where that line is, like you say, you have the dragon mum come out in you. I definitely have the dragon mum come out in me from time to time. And it's usually because of the expectations I've been carrying based on what I think my parents wanted from me. And I'm expecting my children to live by that. So yeah, it's quite a deep process.
I was all,
Go on.
did you want to ask a
No.
question as well? That is an amazing observation, and we're seeing, aren't we, that this is a lot about self-awareness, and how important it is to honor that rather than just see it. And you're making. It sounds like you're encouraging people to make space and really honor these things as a way of growing. And it reminds me of something somebody said to me about how the absence of rites of passage in our culture. And actually, being an entrepreneur, running your own business can be that. You can be, as well as actually running the business, it is also an exercise in personal growth and introspection, isn't it? And what was fascinating, what I heard in what you were saying, Whitney, is in how the whole thing about authenticity is perhaps doubly hard for the self-employed, for the entrepreneur, because in a corporate setting, you can resort to role, can't you? And the culture. People should kind of know where they stand, and HR are there to police that. So when it's working like a machine, it's working very well because everyone knows what they're meant to be doing. That's why you are hired. This is your contract. This is how you relate to these people, and this is your professionalism. But then when you're attempting to be authentic and presenting your gift to the world as a business, that could be doubly hard, couldn't it? Because like you say, when you don't feel like it, you're running all those sort of man up scripts on yourself, aren't you? And come on, let's just do this and all that sort of stuff, which,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a place for that. There's no question. Sometimes you've got to get through it. But then if you're automatic, if you double down into being the automaton and not really being authentic, then that is no longer authentic then, is it? You're presenting something which is not the reason you went into business in the first place. So it's actually very hard, I think, being an entrepreneur and facing all those things.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it.
Yeah.
Again, we're not asking you questions today.
We're just reflecting.
Yeah,
on
we're
what
just
you're saying.
reflecting on what you're saying.
I'm so
You're right.
sorry, Whitney.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
that's a good
That is
question.
so well
So,
put.
That's both of us. We both gave you a long soliloquy there.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Whitney.
I love it. That was
This
so
is
well.
a shamanic space. Things are coming out.
I mean, that
seen.
is the thing,
I
isn't it?
love
Like
it.
you hold a space, and then people start to have experiences.
Yeah.
You know,
we
that's
better go do our process as well, because as well as us not asking you any questions and just what we're seeing and what you're saying, we are running out of time. So, and I don't want to rush that. It'd be lovely if you could share with us some way of going into this, the work that you're talking about.
absolutely. So should we go in? I would love to.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. Let's go on a journey.
Ooh.
Yes. And I have one I have in mind, but I'm going to keep it open and channel a bit, allow the energy to come in. Sorry, I'm just burning a little sage, is my thing. I have to burn a little bit. All right, so if I could invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And exhale through your mouth if you feel like it. Maybe just one more. Take a deep breath in and breathe in all your life force energy. And exhale and intentionally let go of anything not serving you. And set your intention and call your energy back and bring it all into the center of yourself. You return to your regular breathing. And maybe running your breath along your spine. So as you inhale, you could feel it running up. And as you exhale, you could feel the energy running down your spine. And feel into each vertebrae and release any tensions. Beautiful. So I want you to connect to the vibration from the ground, and may even to feel into the pulsating of Mother Earth's heartbeat. And you may start to feel the ground. It's almost like engulfing you from the ground, coming up, eating you up kind of feeling from the feet and up your legs. And you feel slowly emerging with Mother Earth. And in the same moment, the portal opens up underneath you. And maybe stone steps, maybe spiraling stone steps opening, and you get to step down. And as you step down, you can take account of the number of steps appear, one after another. So I'm hearing maybe 7. Then you might see a landing, and there's a long corridor, and it's quite dark, but you can see just fine. And there are light on the walls. So you're invited to head down this long corridor. And then you come into this room. This room, it's where you feel so dark, but yet so bright. Go in. You hear this whisper, go in. And as you step into this room, it's so dark, but you feel so wrapped up in this space, like in the mother's womb, perhaps. And you start to feel her heartbeat, and you get to feel your heartbeat, and they're singing up. So you're like, boop, 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 together. So in this moment, you get to even go into more of the silence of yourself, deep, deep, deep in this space being held, and just the heartbeat together with the earth in yourself. And you feel this moment where you become one. If you feel like it, you could put hand on heart. And allow any messages from Mother Earth for you in this time, or any messages you have for her. She may even have appeared in front of you. And really listen in. What does your soul want you to know today? Perhaps, what do you need today? And if you think it, if you can see it, or if you could be in it and know it, she says you'll have it. And know you can always come back in this space. So if you want to give thanks to her and for yourself for bringing yourself here today. And with that, you get to walk out the room, down that corridor, up the steps that you came down, up and up and up. And slowly you feel the energy return back to your body. You could do an inhale and feel the edges of your body. And if you feel called to, you could wiggle your fingers and toes and open your eyes when you're ready.
I'm not ready. I am ready, but I just would happily stay there.
You stay there then, okay? Stay there.
Thank you, Whitney. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Delightful.
You're so welcome.
So much. That's possibly. Oh, Cordelia's asking straight off the bat.
Yeah.
What's her YouTube?
Yeah.
Wow, let's bring it up. I've got it right here. Ready to on the screen.
I am so creative. It's just my name.
WhitneyMullings.com. That was fantastic.
It was.
Often when I'm working with you, you take me on a shamanic process each time, and I nearly always fall asleep, don't I? So I really worked hard to stay consciously in the room. But I mean, it's always good sleep, isn't it? And I play it back and go deeper. But I think you know where to go, don't you? Your body takes you.
Yes. Trust your body. There's so much wisdom. So yes, don't worry. When you doze off, what I've come to learn is that's how you need to receive the energy. So it's just perfect. What you need.
Whitney, we have to go. Thank you so much. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Thanks very much. WhitneyMullings.com, everybody. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.
Lots of love.
Ciao, ciao.